this might be the phone of the year.
Insane, in all the best ways.
Monumental leap generationally.
Proper trouser rousing stuff.
Welcome back to Re-Review, where we watch all the reviews so you don't have to. Today we dive into the flagship that's changing the Android game, the OPPO Find X9 Pro.
The OPPO Find X9 Pro, and man, the phone looks great, it feels great. This display is lovely as well. It's 120Hz LTPO, it's 3600 nits of brightness, it can actually drop down to 1 nits as well, so it's great in the dark.
8.3mm thin and 224 grams, it nails that perfect balance. It feels solid, premium, but still comfortable enough to hold all day.
The phone has advanced ingress protection. It's rated at IP68 against dust and water submersion, and IP69 against jets of heated water.
The bezels are some of the smallest that I've seen on any phone. The speakers sound great. Honestly, this phone is ticking every box. I love it.
That durability is packed into a slightly heavier body, and critics found the aesthetic overhaul highly polarizing.
I'm just not a fan of this boxy trend that every brand seems to be jumping on. I mean, don't get me wrong, on phones with smaller screens like say the Vivo X300 or the OnePlus 13s or even the iPhone 17 Pro, I'm very happy with flat screens and flat backs. But on phones with this size display, 6.8-inch panels, I would prefer for at least the back to curve inwards.
That matte finish, ridiculously satisfying. You will find yourself picking it up just for the thrill of it. This one's rocking the titanium charcoal color, all stealth mode and secret agent vibes. But if you're more of a look at me, I moisture type, the silk white version keeps it clean, classy and effortlessly bougie. Though the charger isn't included in the box, so you will need to invest a little to unlock full speed charging. Wireless, oh, it's got you covered. 50-watt wireless charging. Stick it down, grab a coffee and boom, you are powered. And because OPPO knows you like helping out others, there's 10-watt reverse wireless charging.
OPPO claims that they made this 3D ultrasonic scanner 35% faster and 33% more reliable than conventional optical scanners, which explains the faster unlocks I had. It even recognized my finger when it was wet or oily.
And the Find X9 Pro also boasts a pretty banging pair of stereo speakers with the All Reality fine tuning. The Realme 15 Pro Game of Thrones Special Edition celebrates the tele show. So a pretty beefy bit of audio when you max out that volume.
Alright, now let's talk performance. Under the hood, we've got the MediaTek Dimensity 9500, a 3nm beast with an octa-core CPU clocked at 4.21 GHz. Memory-wise, you are looking at 16 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM and 512 gigs of UFS 4.1 storage. And if that's not enough for your multitasking lifestyle, this phone has virtual RAM expansion, which uses up to 12 gigs from your storage.
They've also squeezed in a 33% larger vapor chamber cooler this year, so that helps dissipate the heat away from the chip and then out through the aluminium frame of the body to keep the phone cooler and also give you better sustained performance. And if you're wondering why we don't have the Snapdragon chip in here, obviously they just announced the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, awful naming scheme, but generally OPPO reserved that for their Ultra series of phones. And
the hardware delivers exceptional speed, but OPPO's tuning choice prioritizes comfort, leading to early throttling during prolonged heavy tasks.
But OPPO has decided no, they don't want the skin temperatures of it, the skin of the actual phone, to not get that hot and not be uncomfortable. So this is why they throttle it so early.
In our prolonged CPU stress test, it quickly dropped to less than half of its peak performance.
I've been editing videos on CapCut on this guy, and you can see it exports very fast. I can even put a bunch of 4K timelines on CapCut, scrub through with no lag whatsoever.
I boosted all of the graphics settings up to the highest maximum possible values, and even after literally hours of gaming on this thing, that frame rate stayed nice and smooth and stable.
This chip performs well, but I can say that about the chip last year too, or the chip the year before that. Mobile silicon have been more than powerful enough for like 3 or 4 years now.
It's got a 50 megapixel main and ultra wide, and then a 200 megapixel telephoto lens.
And then up front, there is a 50 megapixel selfie camera that can capture 4K video at 60 FPS, as can the rear cameras.
This actually is an industry first where it captures the full 50 megapixels by default, giving you noticeably more detailed shots, particularly when you zoom in. It's clever though, because it can dynamically shift back to 12 megapixels in low light or tricky lighting, where traditional pixel binning comes in handy. But you know, for those landscapes, for portraits, for general shots in good lighting, shooting 50 megapixels just in the regular auto photo camera mode is a really cool feature, and we just haven't seen it anywhere else.
That new telephoto can actually capture over twice as much light as before, giving you sharper, brighter photos even in tough lighting. And on top of that, it even doubles as a macro lens that can focus as close as 10 centimeters, which is something that most phones, including something like the iPhone 17 Pro Max, can't do.
Moving into image quality, the Hasselblad tuning provides exceptional color consistency and impressive detail across the focal lengths.
One of my favourite things on this camera is that the colours stay consistent across all of the lenses. There is no colour switching when you go from the ultrawide to the telephoto or that main lens. You kind of get the same vibe across all of the pictures. I am a sucker for a telephoto lens, and having 200 megapixels to play with, I can't get enough of it. The X9 Pro gives any other telephoto camera a run for its money, and it captures a huge amount of details in both its highlights and its shadows, and because it's 200 megapixels, you can actually crop in after you've taken that photo and still get some really nice detailed shots.
It's front-facing 50 megapixel camera, has autofocus, which is good. I think that's a must nowadays. With autofocus means you can have yourself in focus, and then you can go along and spin the phone around and then film that. And that is going to be focused. One area where I have spotted a bit of a weakness is low light photography at the moment. OPPO needs to optimize this a little bit better. I've noticed that any artificial lights can sometimes just look a little bit off, and zoom low light shots could be optimized a little bit better.
My only small complaint is that it sometimes lifts the shadows a bit too much, which can flatten the depth a little, but it's a minor thing.
The Find X9 Pro supports full 4K 120 ACES certified log. I would have preferred if they'd added it to the regular video mode, and by default you actually have to enable it in the settings for it to then show up in the Pro video mode, but you can turn on log, which then shoots in this flat profile. But even if you don't shoot in log, the video quality on this is so good. Like, first of all, just look how seamless this can zoom in and out. You can barely tell when it switches between the three lenses, and more importantly, look how consistent the color is throughout.
You can record at up to 4K, 60 FPS, Dolby Vision from every lens, wide, ultra wide, and telephoto too, which is great, something that the Galaxy S25 Ultra doesn't even offer. Plus, this is actually the first phone to support 4K motion photo. Every other phone out there, including the latest iPhone and Galaxy devices, save motion photo frames at a much lower resolution, typically around 1080p.
And for creators seeking even greater reach, the external accessory provides incredible optical zoom, though it comes with practical limitations.
And what they gave the Find X9 was an actual physical extender lens. You do have to pick this up separately. It doesn't come with the phone, but if you do pick this up, what you can do is get even closer with 10 times, 20 times, and 40 times zoom. And the photos from this, they look unreal.
The design, honestly, it's not quite as intuitive as Vivo's design, because this is the lens mount. As you can see, it actually covers the other two cameras. So when I have the lens mount on, I can only use the telephoto camera.
And it's not just for photos. You can punch in up to 50 times shooting 4K video.
The phone has a hardware key which you can use to control the cameras, like you see on the iPhones. It doesn't click, but it's pressure sensitive, and it can be used to launch the camera and shoot. It recognizes swipes too for adjusting zoom.
The OPPO Find X9 Pro comes with Android 16, layered with ColorOS 16, smooth, intuitive, and packed with features.
OPPO says the Find X9 Pro should get 5 OS updates as well as 6 years of security patches.
Overall, ColorOS 16 feels like one of the best versions yet. Fast, flexible, and full of genuinely smart features that made using the Find X9 really enjoyable.
The software provides deep customization and industry-leading cross-platform integration, aiming directly at competing ecosystems.
Now, if you ask an iPhone owner why they don't switch to another brand, most of the time they will say it's because of the ecosystem. The ability to simply take a photo here and send it directly to a computer, or even copy and paste from a phone. Well, OPPO have a brilliant solution and a counter to that argument. I'm going to hit the share button here. There is a little icon right here that says iPhone or PC. Now, in order to get this to work, you do need a bit of software on your PC or your Mac. And once you set it up, essentially, this opens up AirDrop between the OPPO devices and the Apple devices.
So for me, being able to remote control my Mac is the absolute biggest selling point. Let's say I have a video that I was editing on Final Cut Pro that I couldn't finish on the MacBook. I don't have to bring the MacBook with me now. I can bring the iPad, which is much lighter, and finish the edit on the iPad top. And it doesn't have to be OPPO, by the way. It works with any Android devices.
And it is the first Android phone outside of China that you can connect your Apple Watch to, but that is something that is coming soon. One of the big pushes for OPPO is Mindspace. There is a button on the top left of the phone. Essentially, you can press this and you can save a screenshot of articles or anything like that, and actually ask Gemini to plan a trip for you based on notes or screenshots that you've made inside of Mindspace. And honestly, it's pretty cool.
The other cool thing about this is when you're screenshotting times and dates, for example, let's say it's an invite or a calendar invite, you can literally just screenshot it there and it will extract all of that information for you as well and add it to the Mindspace.
Somewhat annoyingly though, at least at the time I'm shooting this OPPO Find X9 Pro review, you can't get Gemini to search all of that Mindspace information. There is an annoying disconnect between the two.
Then there's this new feature called Motion Cues, which is a first for any phone. Basically, if you get motion sickness when you try to use your phone in the car, this is supposed to help. It works by showing you these little dots on the side of the screen that shift and sway along with the movement of the vehicle. It helps your brain match what your eyes are seeing with what your body's feeling.
It has a huge 7,500 mAh silicon carbon battery, and that capacity is in every region.
The test results speak for themselves. The Find X9 Pro earned the highest active use score we've seen yet, at just about 22 hours. Very impressive.
When the Pixel 10 Pro XL was finished, the OPPO still had 43% battery left, and compared to the iPhone finishing at about 41% battery left. This did an extra 4 hours ahead of the iPhone.
The phone supports 80 watts Super Vogue charging, or up to 55 watts using USB power delivery. We tried both types of chargers, and they charged at the same rate in half an hour, taking the phone from 0 to a little over 50%. Though when charging to full, the Super Vogue charger was faster. The times are solid considering the size of the battery. There's also support for wireless charging and reverse wireless charging.
The massive capacity translates into record-setting endurance under extreme usage conditions, backed by impressive claims regarding battery longevity.
OPPO even claims that these batteries will even hold about 80% of their capacity after 5 years of normal use. That's a huge deal, and in my day-to-day use, I was easily getting around 8 to 9 hours of screen on time on a single charge.
Battery life is absolutely epic. So 2 days ago, I had a very heavy day outside. I was outside for 14 hours and I was shooting a lot of log videos and posting them on social media throughout the day. And after 14 hours when I came home, there was still like 16% battery left.
Launch price for this phone has not changed from last year. The Find X9 Pro still starts at $5,299 RMB. Converted prices should be on screen.
If it's around about £1,000, this is a great deal. I've tested a lot of phones this year, from the Galaxy S25 Ultra to the Pixel 10 Pro XL, and none of them have excited me as much as the Find X9 Pro.
Although it lacks US availability, reviewers position the Find X9 Pro as a superior value proposition compared to major competitors in regions where it is sold.
The problem is that this is not going to be available inside of the US, but it is going to be available in a lot of Europe. And it goes toe-to-toe with those big boys, and I think it's probably a better phone than the Pixel 10 Pro XL.
This is a monumental leap generationally in battery performance, and I'm here for it.
Flagship that I've got very little to complain about. I would happily have stuffed in my pants every single day, especially thanks to that excellent battery life.
The OPPO Find X9 Pro fundamentally redefines expectations for flagship endurance, setting new records with a 7500 mAh battery. This power is paired with a massive step up in photographic versatility. The 200 megapixel telephoto and Hasselblad consistently produced phenomenal images, backed by industry-first features like 4K motion photo and a full 4K 120p log video support. Though OPPO trades some peak sustained performance for a cool running device, the refined ColorOS 16 provides a lightning-fast, feature-rich experience, complete with 5 years of guaranteed updates and advanced cross-platform connectivity. For the professional or serious hobbyist demanding unparalleled battery life and extreme optical reach, this phone is a clear market leader. For the video creator needing log support and versatile high frame rate options, OPPO has delivered. And for the discerning flagship buyer looking for a complete, cohesive package that offers immense value compared to the competition, the consensus is...
I would definitely recommend this to anyone who's looking for a phone that will last and isn't going to break the bank.
Thank you very much for watching the ultimate roundup review of the OPPO Find X9 Pro. Please find links for full videos down below and come back for more re-reviews where we watch older reviews so you don't have to.